Good morning, Miss Lee.
Mr. Dan.
Oh, I'm not Mr. Dan.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Well, then who am I if you're not Mr. Dan?
You're Miss Lee.
Well, why aren't you Mr. Dan?
I don't know. You never called me that before.
Oh, okay. Well, whoever you are, sitting across here from me.
Okay, got to talk up now.
Okay.
We're doing something new because this is a special edition because there's been a Supreme Court decision this week that has all about baking a cake.
Oh, cake, that's the sweetest thing you can possibly
That's
eat.
right. And they're trying to force Christians to be slaves to bake cakes for homosexuals. That's called slavery.
I know, and like cakes, they're wonderful things.
Involuntary, but baking a cake, if you're forced to bake a cake, it's like being forced to make bricks for the Egyptians. It's called slavery. It's involuntary servitude. You're not volunteering to bake a cake. You're being forced to bake the cake. That's stealing your labor.
So if somebody asks you to bake a cake and you say, you might not like what they want on the cake, but you say, okay, I'll do it.
That's voluntary servitude.
But
if they pay you
or
something.
Yeah, but if you say, you know what, my moral and spiritual convictions tell me I can't put that. I do not want to do that.
Actually, convictions are kind of irrelevant.
Okay, well, what is it then? What's the right word?
It's slavery.
Oh, okay.
I don't care why you do it.
Oh, I can just say no, you mean?
You're a free person. This is a free country.
So
13th Amendment says you are free. You can't be forced to work. And that's what is happening in this case. See, I think Christians are making a big mistake by trying to make it religious. Now it is, because it's a free exercise of religion,
right.
And it's speech, and it is because of free exercise. But the 14th Amendment says that all the laws have to be equally applied. And this guy, what happened in this case, this guy in Colorado was an artist, and they came and tricked him into refusing to bake a cake. Well, the trick was they wanted to enslave him. And our friend Bill Jack, wonderful guy.
Instead of them simply going to someone that they knew agreed with their way of lifestyle and would have baked a cake.
Yeah. And they walked by many gay cake places.
Yeah.
So our friend Bill Jack, he decided, okay, we'll show that they're not applying the law equally.
Or as officially he is known in the archives of American history now, William Jack.
Oh yeah, that's his real name.
Yeah.
But we know him as Bill Jack. And one of the reasons he used to go by that name because there was a famous movie called Bill Jack. Give you a little inside story. And Billy Jack was a really cool guy.
Yeah.
And Bill likes to be cool, and he is cool. But what's interesting in this article of Mother Jones,
Mother Jones,
one of the old hippie magazines that we used to read when we were hippies. As we quit being hippies and became Christians, our life changed. But they called this a stunt. What did they say?
They said, did the Supreme Court fall for a stunt? Like, ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
They're tricked. The Supreme Court, which are supposedly some of the wisest, most intelligent people in the country.
Oh, they could never fall for a stunt.
Stunt.
Yeah.
The Masterpiece Cake Shop decision draws from a series of dubious bakery requests by a Christian activist.
Oh, Christians can't be activists. That's because they're evil. See, and that's what you got to understand. This is the discrimination. Christians can't be activists.
Totally the meat.
But go ahead and read the first paragraph of the article because I think it is very revealing.
In its decision this week in Masterpiece Cake Shop versus Colorado Civil Rights Commission, the Supreme Court wanted a way to rule narrowly in favor of a Colorado baker who refused to sell a wedding cake to a same-sex couple.
Now, I totally agree that they wanted out. Mm-hmm. They wanted a way out.
Well, because they've already passed all these laws about gay marriage is okay.
Yeah, and it's and gay marriage, and to force somebody to believe or act in gay marriage is slavery. Right. And nobody's bringing that up. Even the Christian attorneys are not bringing that up. But they're seeing, except for two of the Supreme Court justices, they saw that they were being forced to work. The contract was being enforced upon them to work. They weren't volunteering, they were involuntary servitude.
Yeah, and it goes on to say that the Supreme Court wanted a way out without upsetting decades of civil rights law.
No, decades of bad law, because they can't apply the law when you force people to work. But go ahead.
It seems to have found the answer to its conundrum in a stunt pulled by a religious right activist.
See, a religious right activist. He can't be a citizen.
Oh.
He can't be a person just wanting a cake baked about the Bible. He's a religious right activist. See, that is how the left...
And it's a stunt.
That's how the left... You don't have free speech. You don't have freedom to enter into a contract because you're a slave.
Why?
You only have to do what we allow you to do.
Why isn't it an objection or a protest or even a march? Those would all be okay, but this is a stunt.
Yeah.
Okay, the effectiveness of the stunt and its embrace by the court's conservative justices illustrates the extent to which Christian legal organizations are influencing the law all the way to the Supreme Court.
That is true. And it is true because not the legal organizations. I want you to know it's true because of one man, Bill Jack. Or William, I'm sorry.
William. Well,
William is official now.
They don't even call him Mr. though. They just
William the crazy activist. But what he did was he saw this was slavery and this man was being forced into a contract that he didn't want. Now here's what Bill had to say.
When I saw what was happening to Jack Phillips and other Christians when they spoke in the marketplace of ideas and were suppressed, I realized the First Amendment was under attack. I knew something had to be done. And so I approached several bakeries, such as Azucar Bakery, that advertise on the LGBT-friendly sites, and I requested 2 cakes, both in the shape of an open Bible. On one cake, I requested on one side, God hates sin, Psalm 45:7. On the facing page, I requested homosexuality is a detestable sin, Leviticus 18:22. On the accompanying cake, I requested on one side, God loves sinners. And on the facing page, while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us, Romans 5:8. Now, what did I request on the cakes? Basically, the gospel. God hates sin, God loves sinners. And I wanted to find out if they were going to deny my request, and if so, I wanted to find out if the law would be applied equitably. I think you now see what I'm talking about. Because businesses are being forced by the government, by certain state laws that have been amended to include sexual orientation in their anti-discrimination laws, to provide services for events with which they have a disagreement. If you want to know more about how this plays out in the culture, I urge you to take a look at, would Jesus bake this cake?
Now, here Bill is trying to get you to get his video, and you should order it. But I want you to understand that the core principle here is slavery. Slavery is when you're forced to work against your will.
And I want to say, too, here's a man. He's just a guy. He saw something that was wrong.
He just saw it.
He said, I needed to do something about this.
I know how. I have a video camera.
What can I do to?
I have a pen.
I have a pen. I have a piece of paper.
I have feet. I can walk down there, and that's what he did.
And how many of us, including me, see something that's wrong and go, man, I wish somebody'd do something about that.
And he did something.
And
this is what it is.
And that's why he's a hero of the faith.
And he's a hero of history, and he's a hero of freedom.
Yeah.
Not religious freedom only.
Freedom.
Not free speech
Freedom.
only. Not free press printing cakes. That's kind of what it was. But equal protection of the law and the 13th Amendment, slavery. So Bill defended religious freedom, limiting of the government. He defended the idea of free speech, free press, and he defended the 14th Amendment. The law had to be equal, but the key was, and it's the unspoken, nobody wants to say this about the homosexual movement, slavery. They are trying to enslave the Christians to be their involuntary servants. That 13th Amendment. Thank you for watching our video. Our videos are crowdfunded. That means you gift us directly, not through a nonprofit, so we lose a lot of the money through different ways that happens. This means everything you give goes to produce more and more videos. Send your gift to paypal.me/Dan Rodden, and we will get it directly, not through organization.